welcome to the Good Convo, Good People podcast with me, your host, Jordan DeLeon. And I want to thank everyone who listened to episode 2 with my wife, Natalie. I appreciate all the love and all the support. I have another very special guest today, my oldest sister, my only sister, Ashley DeLeon. Welcome, Ashley. Introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, where you're from, what you do, and why you're doing it.
Hi everybody. My name is Ashley. A lot of people know me by my nickname that was given to me as a teenager and just my social media name, which is Zay. I am a mother of 3. I have 3 children. My oldest, my daughter, her name is Lilia. She will be 13 this year. And then my oldest son, Gianni, he will be 10. And then my baby, Nolan, he'll be 4 this year. I am also happily engaged to Manuel. A lot of people know him by Chico. I've been with him for a while. I am a small business owner. I am a daughter, a sister, a friend, and an auntie. And I'm also a dog mom. I have 2 bulldogs that, I got because of quarantine. So, yeah. That's me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Yeah, and you're the only girl out of all of our siblings.
Yeah, the only girl. Well, we have a stepsister, and then I myself have 9 brothers. I'm the second oldest out of all my brothers.
Yeah. So there's how many total? So there's 4 with our parents. So Shannon and Phil.
Yeah.
And then we got one brother with our mom
Yeah.
who had with someone else, and then our dad has 2 other kids.
Correct.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is we're all 2 years apart.
Yeah.
So this is
most of us are. Yeah.
This is our odd years. So you'll be 31, right?
Pause.
Oh, oops, sorry.
I'm 29
You're
on
21.
hold. Yeah, because I turned 30 last year, and that was kind of during the whole, quarantine thing.
So you missed your dirty 30.
Yeah, I missed my dirty 30, so I decided to pause. I'm 29.
So
still.
we're actually we'll be the same age this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so our oldest brother he'll be 33.
Yes.
We're both 29.
Yes.
Well, I'll be 29. And then our brother Daryl, he'll be 27.
Yes.
Brother Donovan will be 25.
Yeah. So Donovan's the baby on our mom's side, and he'll be 25, right? Yeah.
And then Brandon's 23.
Yes.
And then I don't know, Michael's way younger, right?
Michael, he's the same age as Leah. So he'll be 13.
Okay, so he missed the 2-year mark. I always thought that was so cool. Like we're like 2 years. I
2
mean,
years
it's
apart.
like a year, some months, or like a year, 9 months, things like that. But either way, it always ends up we're exactly 2 years apart. Another cool thing I remember I told you is me, you, Philip, and Daryl were all born on the same day of the week. I think it's Thursday.
Yeah.
So our birthdays are always the same day of the week. So
And there's a lot of 18s too.
yeah,
Like
because
I'm April 18th. Daryl is
January.
January 18th. Yeah.
And then your daughter was born a day after your
Yes.
18th birthday.
Yeah. So I'm April 18th and she's April 19th. So that's always just been a special thing for her and I. So
Yeah, nice way to spend your 18th birthday, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, not too many people. I mean, I touched on it a little bit, just kind of our story. It's definitely unique, and it shapes us into the people we are today. We lived with our mother up until I was 2. You were 4.
Yeah.
She lost custody of us, and we all were taken away from her. I don't really remember too much of everything. I just know, like, I've always lived with Grandma Kathy.
Yeah.
I think we lived together too for a little bit. But I mean, do you remember anything really from then?
I remember the day that we were taken away. I just remember, the police knocking at the door. Mom was sleeping. Me and Philip were obviously taking care of you, and Daryl was probably a baby.
Yeah.
No, Donovan was a baby, right?
No, Donovan wasn't born until like after all this. So Daryl had
Okay, so Daryl was
he
the
was
baby
like, yeah, a
then.
couple months.
Yeah, I just remember it like just piece by piece, like little pieces I remember. So I remember the police showing up, knocking at the door, and then I just remember us all in the back of a police car. Um, and then I just remember us being together for a while. And then after that, kind of just going our separate ways. I do remember just like our visits that we would have after we were after we were separated.
Yeah.
I just remember, our visits that we had with mom and dad.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember those two. I remember like I was always so excited because we'd always get hamburger
Hamburger
stand
stand,
because
yeah.
I think it was it's the I don't know what building it is right there off of Federal.
Yeah.
It's like the Denver Health area. Or,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's right across. Is it? It's like right before. Is it?
it's like after
Full House?
10th. It's like
Yeah.
before the on Federal before the Mile High Stadium. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I don't remember much, but yeah, I mean another thing that kind of like uh that I thought of is like, so I mean, you're kind of like the head of like our families, like our siblings,
Yeah,
just
definitely.
because I mean, like, like our mom's obviously not there, but like you've always been like that. So I remember hearing you tell me stories, and I think grandma told me stories too, where like you're taking care of us, like
Yeah.
you're changing our diapers, you're feeding us,
Yeah.
and you've always had like that motherly like instinct for us.
Definitely. I do remember that. I took care of you. Like I said, Philip's the oldest, but I feel like I've always been like the one in charge. I'm very bossy, so I seem to take over, and I definitely remember taking care of you guys when we were little. Even, growing up to, when we did get back in touch after being separated, I feel like,
You just went right into that role, like
yeah,
it is like nothing changed, like.
yeah,
I know because when we lived with Philip, I think I was still in high school, and we lived right there off of Grove with him. Like
mm-hmm,
you're like the mother, like you
yeah,
know what I mean, making sure we
the house
eat,
mom.
yeah,
Yeah.
cleaning, and you just always kind of just had that like natural role. Um, yeah, so yeah, I think so. We did live together briefly with
With
my
grandma.
grandma Kathy,
Yeah,
and
I
then
don't remember. That's one thing I don't remember is living with you and grandma.
yeah, I don't think it was that long.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I don't know exactly what happened, but then you went into foster care, right?
Yeah, well, I went with Philip to Grandma Carrie's and Grandpa Phil's. I stayed with them for a while. Um, I don't remember what happened
I
with
think
that.
what I was always told was that I guess if you have like a boy and a girl, they have to have two separate rooms, and I think neither of them had separate rooms for us. I mean, I don't know if that's 100% or something, but I think that's what happened. And I
Okay.
always heard that you would always like you would cry for like our mom,
Yeah.
and like I think the counselors or whoever the social services or whatever they saw it as like you being like unfit, and
Unfit.
then
Okay.
they were told that either one of our grandmas was like taking us to still see her mom, and like just all this mess or whatever. So that's what I was always told and what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, you ended up going to foster care.
Yeah, so I was in foster care for a while, and then I ended up going with the family, which is my mom and dad today. They adopted me, as well as two of my brothers. They had a son through themselves. So they had their own son, and then they had two foster kids, and then me, and then they ended up adopting me and the other two when I was 7 years old. So, yep, those are still my parents today. I love them dearly, and I am very grateful for them.
Did you take like that mom role with your brothers
I
with them
did,
too?
yes. Like I said, I'm in charge, with you guys, and then with my family, with them too. They know.
So no matter where you go, you're the
Yeah,
boss.
definitely. Not just the boss. I just feel like I'm very overprotective of people that I love, especially my brothers. So I feel like that's what it is. It's just I'm like, and I like to tell them what to do, but I also, I want them to know that I love them and I will like always take care of them. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and I know from like my point of view, and I'm sure like our other brothers can agree. I mean, like obviously, I mean, my grandma was like my mom, but you were like that like second mom, or like
Yeah.
just like the cool mom that I needed, because I mean, obviously, grandma's strict, but
Yeah.
you were like that cool mom that I needed, and I mean, to this day, I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think out of all the siblings, I'm the closest to you, and I think it's always kind of been that way.
Yeah, same for me. I think
Like,
we just kind of attached, even when we were little, when we were really little, just hearing stories about us just being so close. I don't know if it's just in the age or because we look alike or what it
yeah,
is,
and
but
people thought we were twins too when
yeah,
we were babies. They always thought we were twins.
yeah. And then just like, when you were in high school, like you were always with me. I
Yeah.
used to let you drive my car. You would always hang out with my friends. So,
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so yeah, well, we ended up like connecting later down the road. But like, so you lived with Adrian and Kelly
yeah.
since you were 7,
Mm-hmm.
up until like what, like 16, I think, or maybe a little bit longer.
Well, so I was adopted when I was 7 by them. Um, and then I lived with them for a while without any contact with you guys or grandma and grandpa, mom and dad, until I was about 14 years old. And that's kind of when I started getting, really like curious about mom and dad and you guys. And so my mom, Kelly is her name, she got in contact with Grandma Carrie, and she talked to her for a bit. Dad was in prison, but mom was around.
We say vacations.
Yeah, okay,
He was on
vacation.
vacation.
He was on vacation. Um, so yeah, I ended up meeting with you, Grandma, and Mom and Philip.
I remember that. I think we met at like a park, but I remember before that, I think Kelly or reached out to Grandma, and like I think we had a call first. Like
Yeah, so was it Grandma Carrie or was it Grandma Popcorn
I think,
or Grandma Kathy?
and we'll explain that story in a
Yeah,
minute.
we
But
will.
yeah, so my grandma, the one that raised me, I think it might have
I
been,
think it was Grandma.
yeah, because I remember like she'd tell me like, hey, your sister Ashley, she wants to like reach out to you
Yeah.
and like talk to you, and I'm like, yeah. So then I think you called, and like, I remember we're in our apartment, and I mean, this is when they had the cord in the wall phone, and
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what
I
I mean,
remember calling you. Yeah.
and we just sat there and just like had like a 3 hour
Yeah, I remember
conversation,
that.
just like about, like just catching up,
That was
and
before we met at the park.
yeah. And
So
so
yeah.
then we scheduled, I think Callie and Grandma like scheduled a time for us to meet up, and we met up at Barnum. And yeah, I mean, that like, it's crazy because like, and that's kind of why I wanted to like have you on here, is just kind of like just tell like our story, because it's so interesting. So like, I mean, we're blood siblings, same parents, and we're pretty much, I mean, like we have brief memories of each other at that point, but we're pretty much meeting for the first time,
Yeah.
and like just starting like picking up where we left off. And I think that's exactly what we did, because as soon as like we
Exactly.
met, like we were just like, it was like
Inseparable.
nothing
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
like
the same. Yeah. I agree.
it,
Um. Yeah. So like I told you, I feel like we spent more. We actually have. We spent more years together. Than we did being apart. So yeah. So it was that day at the park. So it had to have been Grandma. Um. Yeah. We met then, and then I kind of got more. I don't know. I kind of got like just like this overwhelming feeling of just being around my family. Like it was just always like a piece of me that was missing. So I decided for a while to stay with mom. Um,
yeah, because we lived with her, I think, in that apartment that I was living in with Grandma,
yeah,
and
we lived with her for a while. Off and on, I kept going back to her, but somehow I always ended up going back to my parents
yeah,
because it was just a better, I
it's just
guess,
better environment. And I think,
environment for sure.
and so I don't know, I don't want to get too deep into it, but like I think you really didn't know what like she was going through, and like where she was at in her life.
Yeah.
And Whereas I grew up
Seeing it,
seeing
yeah.
it, because so I mean, I grew up with her pretty much my whole life. Like, you know what I mean? She lived with me and my grandma, and you know, I did see her a lot more, but I kind of seen her just transition into that lifestyle and the path that she chose.
Mm-hmm.
So whereas like you came in and you know what I mean, like your thing is like, you know, I want to meet my mom, I want to know my mom, and you know, I want to see all this, and you kind of got hit with, you know what I mean, like I said, that life she was living, and so
Yeah.
you got to see, you know, exactly what me and, you know, our Philip been seeing like our whole lives pretty much, because me and Philip kept a close relationship. So he's our oldest brother. We kept a close relationship throughout. I mean, he's, until I started talking to you, he was the only sibling that I talked to, just because he went with our dad's mom and dad, and I went with my mom's mom. So so yeah, so you kind of just got to see that side, and I think that was like a little bit of like a heartbreak for you, because just to see her live that life. But we I remember we lived with her boyfriend Randy.
Yeah.
We went to school together,
We did.
which I
Went to
always
Trinity.
cherish. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like cool to me, because like I never got, you know what I mean, I didn't get to grow up with my siblings, and for us to go to school together, that was like the world to me. That was
Yeah.
like awesome. Like
That
you were
was so
older,
cool.
because you were because when I was a freshman, you were
A junior.
a junior,
Mm-hmm.
and so you were
Right?
like, yeah,
Yeah, I was a junior.
because you were what, class of 2008.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so I was 2010,
Yeah.
and so you were like, so you're, I mean, it was like hanging out with the older, and I was hanging out with all your friends that were
Yeah.
older, and it was just like I was like your little kid brother, like just tailing you along. So yeah, I mean, that was exciting. And then we lived with Philip
Mm-hmm.
for a couple months, and we were being little hooligans.
Yeah. We were. That was our party days.
Yeah, that's
Those were probably though like my favorite memories was when he lived off of, was it Grove?
yeah, Grove. It was like off of Federal and Grove by that
Yeah.
library over there. Yeah, those are
So
like the
perf
best times, because like I mean, it wasn't just about the partying, it was just about us three being
yeah, being
together.
together, yeah, for sure. We kind of took over.
Yeah,
I say
yeah,
per
it was,
Philip, but I feel like, to me that was one of the greatest parts of my life was us being together, living with Philip, and just kind of doing what we wanted.
yeah, I mean, we were like living like free, like, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? We had no parents. Like, I mean, we had you to keep us in check.
Yeah. You still went to school.
Yeah,
Grandma,
yeah,
you still went to school.
yeah. Yeah, and you made sure of that.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that was like awesome, and like something I always hold true to my heart. It was kind of like we got, instead of having like the childhood of being like, you know, like little, like, you know,
Little kid.
little kids like
Yeah.
10,
Mhm.
you know, 8 and 6 years old, like we got to, I think we got to appreciate it more, and whereas like, you know, we got to make up for lost time, and
Yeah,
we definitely did that.
we did for sure.
And then you know, after that, I mean, you know, once you and Manuel got together, I was still like a little tail. I mean,
Yeah, you were. You
I had
tagging
my
on.
own apartment, and I was more at your apartment than I
Yeah,
was at
at
mine.
yours. I always say that, you were my kid before I had kids, so you were like
I
my
got you
first kid.
ready.
Yeah. So when we got, me and Manuel got together, you were always over there. I think just because I feel like you got closer to him than you did with me when we got together, but you were always at our house. You did a lot of things with us, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you, Manuel, and Lilia, and then me.
And then
It was like a party of four, and that's why, I mean, that's why I baptized Gianni,
Gianni,
your
yeah.
first son, your
Mhm.
second child,
Yep.
is just because we were that close. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like I think with Manuel, like I've and like no disrespect to my to Philip, but like he was like that big brother,
Yeah.
and we have like the same personality, like
Exactly. You guys are
like
the same.
we could crack the same jokes, and like nobody else would get it but like me and him,
Yeah.
and so I think we've always had like that close bond.
Yeah. You
um
I agree. You guys are immature together.
yeah, for sure.
No, you guys do have the same personalities. So it's like you guys joke around, you guys like talk shit, and you guys fight. So I feel
Yeah.
like he's definitely like a big bro to you.
Yeah, like we've always had those like falling outs, and I think we're both pretty stubborn
Yeah, for
because they're
sure.
like, well, I'm not gonna talk to him if he's not
Yeah, gonna
talking to
talk to
me.
me. Yeah, that's
And
what
but
that's what I mean by immature.
yeah, but no, he's awesome. I mean, he's I won't tell his whole story, but he does have an interesting story,
Oh,
and
he does for sure.
I think getting with you and because Lilia, she has a different father,
Yes.
and so like when you two got together, it was like a package, and like
Yes.
he really like accepted that
Yeah.
and stepped up to that, and so like that's why I have like the most respect for him because that's kind of hard to do is
For sure, I
take
agree.
care of a child that's not
That's not
yours.
yours. Yeah, I agree. That was so I had so we got together when Lilia was 1 years old. Um, and so actually we were just talking about this the other day where I was like, he has done so much. Like he's been a part. Like she has her dad. And he's, I say he's a good dad. He's always been a part of her life, but I feel like Manuel's been more of a father figure for her. Like he's there for, all her school stuff, first day of, preschool, kindergarten, first grade. Now she'll be going into eighth grade this year or in
That's so crazy
August.
to hear that.
I
I'm like,
she's
whoa,
yeah.
because I mean I was there when she was born, and
Uh-huh.
like to see her, and I mean she's turning into a young woman, like
Yeah.
that's so crazy, and we'll touch on that too, how it is to raise a transitioning
Yeah.
teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, so but he's always been a part of, her life and yeah, I think he's a great, dad just in general with, my
Yeah,
boys.
and yeah,
So,
he loves his boys,
yeah,
and
he does.
um yeah, I mean, and um like yeah, so I mean I baptized Gianni.
Yes.
I mean he was like I would always say like before that I didn't want kids because like he was like not my kid,
Yeah,
but
he's
like
special to you.
he was special to me, and so like I could get like my fix with like hanging out with him, and I was like young too. I mean I think that was before I met Natalie, and but he's my who, and
Mhm.
that's my name, I call him. But yeah, and your baby Nolan,
Yes, my baby.
um yeah, I mean he's definitely, he's a
Something
little
special.
brute. Yeah,
He's something special.
yeah. And I know you don't want to say you have favorites, but
No, I love my kids all the same. I do. The love for them is equal. I was just at a rough place in my life when I got pregnant with Nolan. I it's kind of when I had like anxiety and just I was just not at a good place and so I had a miscarriage. So I was pregnant before Nolan and I had a miscarriage. And then I didn't plan to have children after that or any more kids after that. And so Nolan kind of just happened. And then when I was pregnant with Nolan, he wasn't supposed to make it. I was supposed to have a miscarriage with him too, but um, here he is. He
yeah,
ended up, making it. So he's special to me.
yeah, and like I knew all that, but like kind of hearing you say that, like it makes sense now, like why he's so special to
Yeah.
you, this special boy.
Yeah, he
It's a
wasn't
was it
supposed to.
like they call it a is it a rainbow
Oh yeah,
baby?
he's my rainbow baby.
Rainbow baby, and yeah. So I mean, I think that makes sense why you're so close to him. But
Yeah.
like I mean, he's not like you only favorite him. Like you're good to all your kids,
Yes,
and
I
you
love
have
all my kids.
different relationships with all your kids.
Mhm.
And saying that, how has the homeschooling been going?
It's been rough, really rough. So they have been doing the online school um pretty much since school started back in August. They kind of shut us down. They started it and they shut it down. So they were doing the online and it's been really rough. It's been hard. So for Leah, she's in seventh grade. So middle school is a whole different ball game for her, and it's just I think for her, it's just like, well, I'd say for both of them, the fact that they are at home, they feel like, they don't have to get up, they don't have to get ready. They can, jump off the computer and have snacks and play around with the dogs. And so it's been a battle for us. So for me and Manuel, it's kind of been like a conflict between us because he's a helicopter dad. So he doesn't want the kids in school at all. He thinks that they should just do online. And for me, I feel like they should be in school.
And that's due to COVID, just to clarify
Yeah,
that.
this is due to COVID. So I feel like they should be in school. But now, I don't know. It's because Leah was supposed to start school on Monday, and one kid tested positive, and they ended up shutting the whole school down for 2 weeks. So she doesn't go back to school. So I'm kind of like, I don't know.
And it makes you like wonder and like do you really want to send them back like just
Like,
for
is it
those
worth? Yeah,
instances? And that sucks too because like I feel like she's kind of like middle school. Like I mean I don't know
yeah,
how it was for you, but like for me, like I mean it's that transitioning and
yep,
from a little kid to like a teenager, and she's kind of like missing out on that, and that definitely, I mean that sucks. And I mean there's a lot of kids, I mean not just with the middle schoolers but the high schoolers too.
yeah,
Like I feel so bad for these last two senior
yeah.
classes
Me too.
because like the senior year, you know what I mean, that's your transition from teenager to adult,
Yeah,
and they're missing out on that.
or just graduating from high school. That's a big step in life. So yeah, middle school I feel like is like the years that make you. I feel like you transition into kind of the person that you're gonna be. So yeah, it's been pretty rough for her. She's been dealing with a lot of anxiety, and then like loss of friends.
Yeah, they miss out on like just that whole social interaction. And
Yeah.
I think that's like so critical. And like I get both sides of it. Like one, like yeah, you want to keep your children safe. You don't,
Mhm.
you want to keep them away from this this virus. And in that aspect, but at the same time, like, kids got to be kids, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean? They need that social interaction. And I was listening to this podcast with Joe Rogan, and there's a guy on there who's just speaking on that and just saying we're kind of the way he put it is like we're kind of like harming the kids more than we are like helping them by
Mhm.
keeping them safe, because like I mean that can develop, like you said, Lilia's dealing with anxiety
Yeah.
and that, and that's something we'll touch on too, because I mean that's something me and you both have struggled with. But
Yes.
I mean, to be that young and to like have that anxiety, like I remember when I first started like dealing with anxiety, and like just like it's a whole different ball game than what it is now. Like, it's definitely tough now, but I'm able to deal with it. But being that young and like not knowing these feelings that you're having, and it's scary, and it's you know what I mean, and like we're pushing our kids into that.
Mhm.
So it's definitely a tough time. So I mean, like, what would you say, like, if you were in charge, like, what rules are, like, what path would you take as far as like the school system? Sorry to put you on the spot like that, but I mean, just coming from like a mother that's dealing with this school stuff right now. Like, what's your input on it, or like, what's your thoughts?
I don't know. It's hard to say because, like I said, I'm more for. I think that the kids should be in school. More, for like, inter for learning mostly, but like also interacting and being around kids. Because I feel like, well, even when I took Leah to the doctor too, her doctor was like, we've been seeing a lot of kids, that have, started to become depressed just from, being at home or not being involved in school. So I don't know. That's kind of a hard question because I'm more for, they should be in school, but also it's like,
You want to keep them safe?
yeah, I want to keep my kids safe. So we've already had, you know, the virus. We had it back in August, I think it was,
Yeah,
or
y-
November, somewhere.
somewhere around
It
that
was right
time.
before the holidays. So I know how it is to have it. And my kids, were around it. They didn't get tested, but they were sick with us. So I'm pretty sure that they had it and they bounced back. Like Nolan was sick for 2 days. Gianni was sick maybe, yeah, 1 or 2 days, and he was perfectly fine right after.
But the scary thing about it is because I remember Manuel was telling me the story. Like he didn't even know he
Yeah,
had it.
that's the thing. Yeah. I don't know. When it comes to, talking about, coronavirus, there's just so many, I don't know. It's just like there's so many things to say, or, because like you hear this and you hear that. And I don't know. Just after having it, I feel like it's very serious. Um, but I don't want to live, I don't want my kids to live life being scared and like always constantly thinking about it.
Yeah,
You know what
this
I mean?
this fear
Yeah.
and no,
Because they're so young.
yeah, like this is the last thing they should have to like say, and like they should be like worried about like just being a kid. And it sucks because I mean like I'm on the different end, so where I have an 8-month-year-old that's like
Yeah,
growing up during all this, and it's like it sucks, like you know what I mean, it's affecting I don't know how to put it, but like it's affecting like a lot of like time being spent with people because like
for
you know what I
sure.
mean, she doesn't really get to see like too much of her family just because of
Yeah.
having that fear. And like you went and seen her I think what maybe like a week
Yeah. A couple
after
weeks after
yeah.
she was born. But even then, I was like so nervous because it was kind of still new. It was right after quarantine, right? Or we were still, yeah, because we got
I think we were kind of coming out
out
of
of it.
it,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I mean, Manuel didn't, and the kids didn't get to see her until I think she was like 6 months. I think. Um,
Really?
um, yeah,
Yeah.
around that time.
Yeah.
And like that sucks
Yeah,
because
it
like
does.
like with me and you, like family is everything.
Yeah.
And even though we're not the closest to like every single one of our family, or there's certain families we don't talk to. Like it's me and you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like having that family between me and you is like super important. So like it's hard, and I think when we were planning for like the kids and Manuel to meet her, that's when you got
Oh,
COVID.
yeah, that's why it pushed back. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's hard, definitely. You know what I mean? And like just becoming a father for the first time is definitely hard. And on top of that, you got to throw COVID in and all
Yeah.
that. And so it sucks. I'm trying to be optimistic and hope everything clears out. By not gonna say it's gonna be 100% gone, but at least to where we can go back to being normal.
For sure.
Natalie got her vaccine on what was it, on Friday.
Yeah.
She went and got it. I'm gonna as soon as I'm able to. I know I am. I mean, what do you think? Where's your thoughts on it?
So I was just talking actually to two of my friends, my good friends, about the whole vaccine thing, and I feel like I don't know. It's kind of I don't know, because I'm
It's like a
vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. My kids are vaccinated, and Manuel does not want to get the vaccine, and he doesn't want us to. But I'm kind of like I don't know. I I might. I feel like if you work in the healthcare field, like Natalie, my best friend Irene, she works at Denver Health. I feel like if you're a part
if you're
of
in that
that,
mix.
yeah, if you're around it, then you should definitely get the vaccine.
Yeah. See, I'm not like because I don't know, like kind of my research and like things that I've heard about it is like people our age, like we don't really need it.
Yeah.
It should be for the high risk, so like the elderly, like you said, the healthcare workers, people in the mix.
Mhm.
I think as long as, and I think that's kind of why I started my whole health trip and like just kind of changing my diet and building my immune system.
Yeah.
I think if we're taking care of our bodies and making sure we're healthy and building that immune system, like we're gonna be fine. Like I think I'm gonna get the I'll if it's available. Like you know what I mean? Like they vaccinated everyone that they needed to, and they're like, all right, for those who want to come do it. Because I was so against the flu shot. I was that guy that was
Yeah.
like, oh, they're gonna plant microchips in you, and
That's kind of how it is. Like for me, more is like it's like a conspiracy thing,
yeah,
you
and
know?
and Facebook will do that to
Yeah,
you.
it
You know what I mean?
destroys you.
Yeah,
It
you know what
does.
I mean? And it's like I kind of hate like the path that like social media is going and like that
Mhm.
conspiracy theory and like they're and I was all for that. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, they're gonna put microchips in you,
Yeah,
and
that's yeah.
I think Natalie kind of like brought me back to earth with that because I was like they ain't putting no microchip in me. Like fuck that.
Yeah, I'm surprised now talking to you. I'm surprised that you're like, you're for it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and she was like, they could microchip me. She's like, what are they gonna find? Like, what am I doing? Like, if they want to follow me, like, what do I have for them to say? Like, at the same time, it's definitely. But then she was like, that's crazy. Like, you really think that? And it's all because of Facebook. It's something
Yeah.
that somebody read on Facebook,
Mhm.
and I think that's kind of just pushing people towards that. Like, you know what I mean? I think now, I'm just going to try to do everything that I can to make this process easier.
Yeah.
We see all the people, still partying and not taking it serious. And, that's what's holding us up. That's what's keeping us under these restrictions. And, if everyone just did their part, we could get out of this.
I
Let's get
feel
like,
like it's the people that do like the most as far as like staying clean, washing their hands, staying away from people. I feel like they're the ones more that, caught the virus than, the people that are,
yeah.
partying
And I
and
think me and Natalie said that on when we did the episode. We're like how is it fair? Like we're staying home. We're doing what we're supposed to do. Like you, I
yeah.
mean, like because you said at first like Manuel, like he wouldn't even let the kids go outside. Like
Yeah.
he was like super like protective as far as like trying to get the virus. And like
Yeah.
you guys haven't gone out. Like you know what I mean. You wash your hands. You wear
Mhm.
masks. We're the same. And fortunately we haven't caught it yet, but like you did. And it's like how is that fair? Like you see
Yeah.
people over there sharing bottles and
Yeah.
drinking together and like partying like there's like it's nothing, and then like boom, you guys hit it. Like you know what I mean? Like it's crazy the way that I don't know, it works out like
Yeah.
that. Like I definitely don't wish COVID on nobody, but
No.
um but at the same time, like how is that fair? But yeah. So yeah, I wanted to touch because me and you kind of are similar with like our anxiety, and we've had conversations, and because we both experience it too.
Mhm.
And I think you'd mentioned that yours really rose during COVID and all
Yeah,
that.
COVID. So it started, I've always had it like, off and on, but it was not as bad as it was last year. So back in July. So I think just, it could have been because of the whole, COVID thing, just staying home and not, interacting with people and being out and about like I usually was. I was just stuck at home. And then, so I work from home. And then I was also with the kids in their schools. So I kind of felt like stuck at
Like
home.
cabin fever or
Yeah.
something.
So I got, my anxiety hit really, really bad back in July. Um, and I think just being depressed because we were supposed to get married in July.
Yeah,
Um,
and sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, I mean, we both lost a lot in 2020 as far as like experiences and things. So yeah, go ahead. I mean,
yeah.
you were planning a wedding.
Yeah, we planned to get married in Vegas in July, and that was, we had to cancel that. So I was kind of bummed out about that too. So it kind of like caused me to be a little, just being depressed from being, stuck inside, and then my anxiety started, and it was just really, really bad. It was a hard year for me, from about July to I'd say about November. I had like severe panic attacks. Like I was not doing okay. I was not, in a good place. Um, so even last night, I actually woke up in the middle of the night and I had like really bad anxiety. So it's not like that I haven't, stopped having it. It's just gotten a lot better for me. And I think what's really helped me was, getting into the Lord, getting into church, reading the Bible, reading scriptures. Um, just my faith, I feel like, has helped me a lot.
And that's awesome because Yeah, I mean, we've had conversations about it, and I think you finding that and going to church and
Hmm.
reading the Bible more has helped you, and I think that's good. Rather than sitting there, going to medication or going to
Yeah.
the doctor, because I know with my anxiety, like I never want to go to the doctor for it because like I didn't want to get prescribed all these
Yeah.
pills. Like I was super against like any type of medication and like that. And so that's awesome. You found a different outlet and a different avenue. Like I've done therapy before, and it does help, but you definitely need like something as far as like non-medication things to help you transition to that. And yeah, so I mean, it's been working for you. Another thing that I think, because I think our anxieties are different. Yours is more like panic,
Yeah.
and mine's more like depersonalization. Like for those who don't know, it's the best way I could describe it is like you're in your body, but you're like watching yourself. Like it's not like you can't be like in tune with reality, and not like a schizophrenic type of thing, but it's a form of anxiety, and it's like there's like a fight for flight trigger inside my head to where like I can be sitting here and something will just switch, and like I get this feeling as if like I'm watching myself from outside of my body. And kind of reading up on it, and I'll definitely record a podcast in the future about this, but I just wanted to touch on it a little bit. Part of that stems from like childhood trauma, and I think maybe some of your anxiety comes from just how we grew up
Yeah.
and things we experience, and I think a child being ripped away from its mother is probably the worst thing that you can do for
I-
a kid.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm starting to see, as the older I get, the more that affects me mentally. I think I finally accepted um, the situation, because I remember when I was younger, and I don't know if you were the same, if you want to touch on it. Like I was always so like angry about it, and like, why me? Like why did this have to happen to me? And like, why do I have to go through this? And like was just so angry and hurt about it. And I think the older I got, I kind of more like changed my mindset. Like and I've said this a million times, everything happens for a reason.
Hmm.
And good or bad, even though it might be the worst situation, like the thing with my DUI, something horrible like that. Everything happens for a reason, good or bad, and what it does is it just changes the path that you're going into a different direction and what you're supposed to do. And so I always think like, if like, what would life be like if we did grow up with both of our parents, you know what I mean, and we did grow up together? Like, it wouldn't have been a
Mm-mm.
picket fence and this beautiful life.
We would
It would
not
have
be
been
the same.
hard. Like
Yeah.
we were living in the Sun Valley projects.
Hmm.
Our dad wasn't around.
Yeah.
He was on vacation.
Hmm.
Our mom was doing things she shouldn't have been doing, and we would have been, you know what I mean. We would have been those project kids. No disrespect to anyone that grew up like
Yeah.
that, but by all means, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. But we'd have been living that like life of poverty, like growing up on welfare and like that type of lifestyle. So, and who knows where it would have been? You know what I mean? Like me and like we could have got in trouble. Like we could have grew up in the streets and like got into gangs and
Led the
living that
path.
type of
Yeah. Or followed the
lifestyle.
path of them, you
Yeah, or
know?
get into drugs
Hmm.
and like living that life. So whereas something so horrible as like we had to be split up as a family, that happened for a reason. And
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing great. You know what I mean? And we're gonna talk about this. I wanted you to
I
to
know we
talk
have
about
so
your
much to talk
yeah.
about.
We'll
We
be
could
here
go
for
for, yeah.
days. I'm telling you. But like you're doing great. Like you're raising you have your family. You're raising your
Yes.
kids. You started your small business.
Yes.
You're not where you want to be, but you're getting there.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean. If we would have grew up and were raised how we were going to be, like we would be in two different places. And
For sure. I agree.
I'm I'm grateful that happened and it shaped me.
I say that all the time. I say, I say, I'm very grateful, to have been through or to go through what I did, because it would not, like you said, we would be, I would be different for sure. But it also helped me to be a better mom to my kids. Um, I feel like since I had my mom and dad, that they adopted me, but, just, going through what I went through and then seeing mom and dad go through what they went through and all the things that they did, I told myself, if I ever have kids, I will never, ever in my life leave them. Like,
And
you'll have to, off me
yeah,
in order.
and same thing for me. I'm like, yeah, like I'm never like with
Yeah.
Lila, like, and that was always my biggest thing. Like I wanted to be the absolute best father that I can ever be, and I wanted to give my kids everything that I
Mm-hmm.
never had. And like, so like, I mean, you had Adrian and Kelly,
Yeah.
and I had my grandma and Herman, who I call my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And that I was actually talking to him about that yesterday because like growing up, I would be like, yeah, that's my grandma and that's my
That's my
dad,
dad.
and they're like, why is your grandma kissing your dad?
Yeah.
Like, why, like, why is you, like, what's going on in that
Uh-huh.
family?
Yeah.
But I call him my dad because he raised me. But so, we were fortunate to have those parent figures
Mm-hmm.
in our life. And, but I think, to go back to what I was saying, like, I wanted to give Lila the life that I never had in
Mm-hmm.
the most positive way and just always be there for her. And like, I don't know, like you said, you would have to kill me to get away from my
Yeah,
daughter.
for
Like,
sure. Like you will never take away my kids. Like there would be nothing for me to do that, would give anybody a reason to take away my kids. Like it's just not happening. Even if like like me and Manuel separated, like he already knows I'm getting the kids. Like those are my kids, you live differently for your kids when you have them.
yeah, and I think just how everything that happened to us, we have like that much more like
Yeah.
appreciation and like love and like just that strong feeling for our kids. Like I'm
Mhm.
so protective over Lila and
Yeah.
like any little thing like like me and Natalie went on a walk and like I'm just sitting there and it was like the summer and I was just like what if somebody runs by and they have COVID and I'm like there's bees out here and the sun's too hot. What if she gets too hot and what if a car like and I just like have all these things and it's just
Yeah.
like I'm so protective over her and yeah, like it's I think it gives us that more just we're just that much more better of parents
Because of our situation and what
because
we
of
went through. I agree. Yes.
yeah, because I'm like I could be a bad anything at my life. I could be a bad driver, a bad listener, a bad whatever. But the one thing I refuse to be is a bad father.
Yeah.
I will never, I will never be a bad father, a bad parent. I give Lila my 110% with everything that I do, and I feel like I owe her that because like I never want her to grow up and experience things that I had to deal with or like
Or
that
just feel the
anxiety,
way
yeah,
that you did,
that like loneliness and that
Yeah.
emptiness and that like I never want her to ever feel that because it sucks. Like you know what I mean? Like being like I said, and it breaks my heart to hear like Lilia dealing with that anxiety and that
Yeah.
and all that, and because I know that feeling. Like I know being like I don't know if you remember the first time you had anxiety, but I
Yes.
kind of do, and it's like it's scary. Like it's like a death
You
feeling. You're
feel
like,
like
am
you're
I
gonna
gonna
die?
die?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly, and like that's super scary and like I don't wish anyone to feel like that, especially like kids or like
Yeah.
especially my niece,
Yeah.
and that sucks.
Yeah. It's an ugly, ugly feeling. Anxiety is, I feel like a lot of people have anxiety or have dealt with it and they're kind of
To a certain
more,
point,
yeah.
yeah.
And they're kind of like, don't talk about it.
Yeah, it's like so like frowned upon or like I think too they either don't talk about it or like people
They don't
like
understand it
they
too.
don't ever understand it but like they'll be like, oh, like my anxiety, like they take it
Yeah.
not as a joke, but like something that like they don't think it's as serious as like what they're dealing with. Like they're anxious because of like something so small, and like that, I mean, that is a form of anxiety, but I don't think people like really fully understand what it is. And like there's different, everyone deals with anxiety
Yeah.
differently. And
It's a touchy topic for sure.
yeah, and I think it's something like mental health should be the biggest focus,
Absolutely.
especially after this. Like,
Oh
you know what I
yeah.
mean? Like in certain cultures or certain families, like they'll get mad at you if you talk about being depressed or being anxious, and like it shouldn't be like that. Like you should be so open. Like I've kept my anxiety inside until like I finally had like a panic attack. Like I thought I was gonna die, and like
Mhm.
you know what I mean. I finally had to like it was just like shaking up a Coke bottle, and you know what I mean. It's just so built up, and it's so
Yeah.
built up, and then finally it just pops, and
Pops.
that
Yep.
happened to me, and like I had to like finally tell grandma like I need to go to the hospital. Like, and for those who've like went to the hospital for anxiety, like that, like you said, it feels like you're gonna die,
Yeah.
and like before I ever started accepting it, because like I didn't know what it was. Like I never knew what it was. I just knew I didn't feel normal.
Yeah.
Like things weren't okay.
Yeah.
And I think the older I got, the more I wanted to dive into it and fully understand like why I feel the way I do. But I mean, I think the biggest thing is like, we need to be vocal about it. And,
Mhm.
obviously, you don't.
Just mental health in general, like not just anxiety, but like depression as well. And I feel like it's a lot of people don't talk about it.
Yeah, it's like taboo.
And it's like serious, and a lot of people need to understand, like, you're not the only one that deals with it. There's probably so many people that
It wouldn't even think.
yeah, that deal with it as well.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure people will hear this and don't even know that. Like, because I mean, yeah, at the same time, we're not sitting there on the soapbox and screaming, "Hey, I have
Yeah,
anxiety. Hey, I'm depressed."
a lot of people,
Or we
yeah.
go run on Facebook and like sit here and be like, "Yeah, I'm depressed." Like, but like we can have these conversations, and I think the biggest thing is not holding it in, like reaching out to somebody to talk to about it, whether it's a therapist or whether it's your mom or your dad or your sister or your friend. Just
Yeah.
like don't hold that in, because I've had it happen to me multiple times where I held it in and it builds up and it builds up, and it's gonna pop. Like it's gonna be ugly. And I think the biggest thing is to like just the suicide, like
Mhm.
um you know what I mean, like keeping people from that point, because like to be that low to where you're like, you know what, like I don't want to be here, like
Yeah.
that's scary, like that's super scary. And I think that's the something we should really focus on. So I mean, for people listening to this, if you're dealing with anxiety, like definitely reach out to somebody and talk to it. Like don't hold it in.
Yeah, don't. I mean, even if you reach out to us, like, I'm always open to, talk to people about it, because I've dealt with it for a while, and just I was at that breaking point, like literally at that, like my breaking point. I remember sitting in the car and just crying, crying, crying. I texted Manuel. I was like, "Please come help me. Like, I am not okay. Something is wrong with me. I'm not okay." And so, um, yeah, I mean, it's a touchy topic, but like I said, there's so many people that you just like that are going through it.
Yeah, and I think with being a man, like perspective of it, like you know what I mean, like no, like it's like a pride thing or
Yeah.
like a manly thing, like oh, like I'm fine, I'm fine. And but like deep down inside, like I think that's the the stigma, or like the that what keeps like men from expressing
Expressing
their
it.
feelings
Yeah.
or expressing how they feel or like what they're going through or dealing with. Because like I mean, we're raised like, you know what I mean, like those tough dads, or like,
Mhm.
don't cry, are you a girl or something,
Yeah.
or be a man. Or and I think, we got to kind of start raising our kids like to be open and like talk to you about these things. And like we don't need that 1950s like, man
Yeah.
type of, you know bringing up our kids.
That's kind of how I get with Gianni too, because he's very emotional.
He's a lover for
He's a
sure, like
lover for sure, and he's like very emotional. Like, he gets his feelings hurt and he cries a lot, and there's times where I'm like, like, dude, you are not a girl, you're a boy, stop crying. And then I like kind of back up and I'm like, you know what, he should express his feelings, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He
I think for men, like it's a
it's got to be more acceptable and like changing, and we start with like our youth by doing that.
Manuel had anxiety for the longest, and he dealt. I did not. I had no idea he
That
had anxiety, and he finally told me. I was like, "You've had anxiety?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Why didn't you tell me?" He's like, "I don't know. For
Yeah,
what? Like,
like
why?
what, you know
Like,
what I
what are
mean?
you gonna
Like,
do? You
yeah.
know?" So
Especially for coming him, like for those who know him, like I mean, he's a
yeah,
manly man. You
yeah,
know what
he
I mean?
is.
He's tough. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Don't you know? He's like that. So to hear him like have that, like I mean, that's you know, everyone could deal with it. And I hope just by listening to this, that helps push you towards, you know, like seeking help or like talking
talking
about it.
about it.
Just talk about it. Like just talking about it, like just will relieve so much stress. I'm because I when I was younger, I thought I was the only person in the world to have this.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I'm the only person to feel like this, and like that's scary. But like to know that somebody's going through the same things that you are, like it'll help you, and maybe they could give you advice of how they handle it,
mm-hmm.
and you could take that, and then because I mean, like I've talked to people about it before, and like I think you know we've had multiple conversations about it, and like in the end, I think you have to learn how to deal with it on your own.
Yeah,
It you know anxiety is not like a one size fits all. Like not there's not one fix for it.
yeah,
You know what I mean? There has to be different things, and you got to keep an open mind with it, and you have to try different things to help it.
yeah.
And I mean, another thing like is depression. Like depression is scary. Like when you're deep in depression, like it's like sinking sand. Like you know what I mean. And like I know when all my stuff happened, like that was my lowest point, like
Mm-hmm.
in my life, when my DUI and losing my job and like that. Like I honestly could say that was the lowest point of my life, and I think by not having Lila really kept me from going like down a really dark road. Like having Lila and Natalie like really saved me. But like Lila, like I always say, she saved my life. Like because who knows which path I would have take. Um, you know what I mean? Like getting deeper into alcoholism or like
Yeah.
you know I've always steered away from drugs. You know, I'm not perfect, but you know what I mean? Like those type of situations and those circumstances are why people go down that road.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you know, just having her there, and like that's another thing, like just having kids. Like I mean, you know what I mean? I know everyone's situation's different, but I just don't understand how people cannot be in their kids'
Oh,
lives. Like you know what I mean, and or like pick something over their own children. Like
yeah, for sure.
there's nothing like my daughter will be number one no matter what. Like there's nothing that could ever steer me away from wanting to be in her life or like being there. Like nothing could ever take me away from that. And so
It's like we're living for our kids now.
exactly. Like
Like,
it's so much more motivation for me for sure. Like I definitely had motivation in the past, but like this was like just the ultimate boost of
yeah,
like I need to do everything I can. Like I need to be the best that I can, and I hold myself definitely to a higher standard because of that.
yeah. Like I'm living today, like I'm alive today because of my children, because of my kids. So like with the whole anxiety and depression thing, I was like, like you got to get it together. Like you have to get it together because your kids need you. Like who's going to take care of them? Who's going to love them like you do? Nobody, you know. They need me. So, I fought a little bit harder just because of them.
Yeah, and you've always been like that, and now I get to experience that. I mean, because I mean you were 18 when you had your first baby, and
Yeah.
I
I
was
grew up,
28, so
yeah.
10 years, like 10-year difference. Like I'm like, you know how much like, and obviously like there's timing's everything. Like you know what I mean. Everything happened. I've had you know the baby with the right person,
Mhm.
and I did it the right way. But I was like, if I would have had a kid and like I felt about the kid like how I do with my honey, like you know how much like bullshit and like trouble and everything I would have avoided and headache. Like I
Yeah.
probably would have been a millionaire now. But timing's everything. So I mean I don't really reflect on that. But like I know like I'm going the right way and I got the right mindset and the right like drive to be where I want to go. And it's all from one person.
Yeah.
That's half of you.
Yeah. It's crazy to hear you, talk like that because I'm like there for years. I'm like, I didn't think you were gonna have kids
I
because
thought,
you
yeah.
didn't want kids. Just you always said I don't want kids, and I just was like, Jordan's not gonna have kids. Like,
Yeah,
it's
and
not
I
gonna,
was like
it's not
always,
for him.
yeah, I was always, and that's why I was like Johnny, like that's I get my fix with him, like
Yeah,
because I mean, you know what I mean. Me and him are super close, but then it's just like,
that was your son. I would always say that's not my son. That
yeah,
should have
that's
been your son.
yeah, yeah, and it's like I mean, I remember I was like, I ain't gonna have kids. I ain't never gonna have kids, and I think that's because I didn't meet the right person,
Yeah,
and I don't know, like I think secretly part of me was just like didn't want to risk putting my kid through any like hurt or anxiety or like having a baby with somebody that I wasn't 100% committed to, and
mm-hmm.
I think that's why I try to avoid it. But yeah, I mean, since soon as I found out I had like Natalie was pregnant, like something clicked in me. It was like weird, like it was like a switch, and like something just changed, and it was like dad mode, and like
Yeah,
I was like okay. And then when I first seen her and like first held her, I was like okay, like you know what I mean. That just put me on a different level as far as like you know what I mean. Like I'm all right. Now's the time to start the journey and becoming the absolute best possible person I can be for this little baby.
yeah,
And having that fire.
yeah.
um, let's see. Okay, so your business. So
Oh yeah, that's what we were supposed to talk
yeah,
about.
that's the whole point of this. But I mean, I'm glad we got to talk about a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, explain what you do.
Okay. So, well, I started, kind of what really started back in, let's see, I was pregnant with Nolan, and so I was a medical assistant. And then I got pregnant with Nolan and just decided that well, we didn't really have anybody to like take care of him, when, if I was to go back to work. So I decided to stay home. But I've always felt like I was always like a hustler. I always needed to make my own money.
Mhm.
So I decided to start doing, I don't know how it started, but I just remember seeing like Starbucks cups, like people were making them all cute, putting little decals on them. And I was like, I want to do that. So I started that. Um, and so it kind of took off yeah, I would say what, kind of when COVID hit. So last year it kind of took off for me. I kind of expanded. I started doing like, custom, Starbucks cups.
Even before that, you were doing like the tamales.
Yeah.
You were
I
what
just
else?
always made a way, or found a way to make money. So, yeah, so I started doing the cups, and then I kind of expanded to doing like, custom items. I do like custom pop sockets, just a bunch of different like stuff. I'm very like crafty, so
Just like little Disney characters, or like I seen
hmm
the Bad Bunny ones. Those ones
yeah,
are
that's my
dope.
new thing. So, girls love Bad Bunny, so
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is like from you starting to do this, I'm like girls like love the dumbest things. To
yeah,
me, it's dumb, but like to
girls
them,
love cups.
like
They
cups,
love
like
their
you
cups.
love cups. Like why do you guys love
I
cups?
don't know.
And
It's
like
just
it's like a coffee thing. Like I don't like you gave me a couple cups, and
yeah.
I appreciate them because you made them,
Uh-huh.
and like it's close to me. But I'm like it's a cup. Like
For me, it's more like the coffee. I don't know. Like, girls tell me they're like, I drink way more water now because of my cute cup. And so I'm like, I guess it's just like a girl thing.
yeah, us guys will never understand it the way you guys won't understand why we do the things we do. But yeah. So I mean, it really blew up. Like
Yeah,
I
it did.
slowly seen because what you started with like friends and family, people you knew on Facebook.
Yeah, so just like my friends, some family, a lot of my in-laws, um, I would just like design little, stuff for them and put it on. So it really started with the reusable Starbucks cups. And so it started off with that, and then I've always been really into like craft stuff. I got that from my mom. We, growing up, we had a huge like our basement was a huge craft room. So we did all kinds of crafts. So I've just kind of always been like into that, and like um, just crafty stuff. So
That was like your calling.
yeah, I feel
Because you
like I
kind of
like to
started
do it.
off with like just like name cups, and I think like somebody get a cup with their name on it.
Yeah, just putting a name, and then I kind of got more detailed, and then just expanding into
Yeah, I
other
mean to
stuff.
see where like you first started to like now, I'm like whoa, like and it looks like legit, like if you were to buy it from the store, and it's like you definitely put your all into it, and that's kind of why it's hard to get a hold of you.
Yeah, so it's hard to get a hold of me. Yeah, I just posted, I think like maybe a month ago, like why you can't get a hold of me. Like I had like 190 text messages.
You posted that picture, right, of like
Y-
just all your
Yeah, all my
notifications
notifications. So yeah, that's why you can't get a hold of me. But I'm very grateful. So I started off kind of slow, I kind of just did it, here and there for people. And then I kind of just got really into it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make this my business. So I started doing like business cards, kind of just being more professional about it. Like I was constantly posting and promoting new things. And then I decided to open up a Etsy shop. And so it kind of took off. I feel like once I opened my shop, it took off from there. Like I got a lot more followers on my social media.
from like all over the world. I saw
So
you
yeah,
you sent a cup to somebody in Hawaii.
yeah, no. So I haven't shipped to Hawaii. I've shipped to everywhere in the United States besides Hawaii, Vermont, and Washington D.C.
So everyone listening, if you know somebody in Vermont,
Yes.
Washington, all those places have somebody buy a cup so you could touch on all 50 states. Have you
Yes,
done
that's
anything out
my
of the
goal.
country yet?
No, so well, I don't ship out of the country, like, cause you have that choice on Etsy if you want to,
Oh, do like
ship outside.
international?
Yeah, but I was like, no, I'm just gonna stick, to just shipping in the United States for now. But now that I'm like, okay, I might, open that up and branch out more. But I was just, when I was posted my picture of like all the states that I've shipped to, I was like, that is crazy. Like my work is everywhere in the United States besides those places. So I'm there. That's my goal. I told Manuel my goal by the end of the year was to have 1,000 followers, and I hit that. I actually kind of went over a little bit. Um,
Now you got to do 10.
I know. I'm hoping. I tease. I say it a lot that I hope I go viral on TikTok. So
I'm sure you will. I mean, I see some dumb TikToks that have like a million views, and I'm like, why does that have that? But no, yeah, I mean, so it's crazy because I mean, you started in South Denver,
hmm
and slowly expanded out. Now you're almost touching 50 states.
yeah, and even I've shipped all over to California, New Jersey, Florida, Texas.
And the power of Etsy, and I seen the numbers, and I mean, we won't talk about it, but like, I
Yeah,
mean, you're doing
it's
good.
legit. Like I was just saying, I was talking to a friend of mine. I was like, you know what? I'm doing way better staying at home, with my business than I did being a medical assistant. So eventually, my goal is to start this. And so my oldest daughter, she'll be 13. So I kind of just want to, start it, get it going for her, branch out more. Like we're doing a lot more. Have a few more things that I'm going to start this year. I won't say anything, but a
Some
few,
big things are coming.
yeah, some big things are coming. But my goal is to, just, step back. Like once I get to where I want to get to, and it be consistent and like a big thing, I want to like step back and just give it to Leah. I want it to be, I kind of did it for her, so she
That
can,
generation wealth.
yeah, so she can just have her own business as a teenager, learn how to interact with people, be creative, make her own money. And so yeah, it's kind of more for her, and then eventually I do want to go back to the medical field.
Awesome. I mean, that's awesome to hear. And I mean, who knows where this can go or like what it'll lead to, and you know what I mean? Just planting that seed, that's awesome. I mean, it's like it's for the kids now,
Yeah, for the
like
kids for
it's for
sure.
the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that. And I mean, so you have the 3D printer, and that's how you do the pop sockets, right?
No, so I have a three. Okay, so um, I have a Cricut machine. That is magic. So if you don't have that, you should definitely get that. Or if you're looking into getting that, definitely get it. It does pay off for sure. You could do so many things with that. Um, so we started off with the Cricut machine and then just a laptop, and I kind of, did like the cups and stuff like that. A lot of my decals are made off of that. I do have a 3D printer that I've kind of used. I don't make the pop sockets off of that. I actually order like pieces to that.
Oh, okay.
But you can make all kinds of stuff.
Well, you're because I know I've already asked you one for the iPod case. Is that something that you're working on, or is it something you're gonna do yet?
No, so that's just like added into my shop. I don't make those.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of that's like one of the things that I'm, branching out into doing is those will be included
Okay,
in my
so
shop.
okay.
But those I do not make, and those aren't made with my 3D printer, no.
Okay. Yeah, because I know like every now you'll send me something like new machine, and I'm like, oh, like all right, like you just got like so many of these ideas, and like
Yeah, I
you're
have
putting them
so
together.
much.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, I mean it's awesome from where you started, and like I'm super proud of like what you did, and like you just started off. Like I think that's the biggest thing now this day and age, and that's what my goal was with this podcast is like just start with your inner circle
Mm-hmm.
and spiral out.
Yeah,
And like that's what you did, and just you kind of having like that small business mindset and like that hustler's mindset, like that inspires me, and I'm sure it's inspired others. Like
yeah.
um
I see a lot of people now that are, doing the same thing that that I'm doing, and I think that's great. For me, it's not like,
like
oh my gosh,
oh, they
she's
copied
copying
me,
me.
or
Yeah,
yeah.
that for me, it's not that. I'm like, I feel like, with the whole COVID thing, a lot of people had to figure out a way because a lot of people lost their jobs, so I feel like a lot of people had to make or figure out a way to make money, and what better way to do it than, being crafty.
Yeah.
So,
Do something you're good at. Figure out what you're
yeah,
good at and capitalize on that and learn. And the power of the internet, I mean, you can find out anything on the internet.
for sure.
Like you could Google something like so dumb, like how to open a door on the internet, and there'll be 100 videos of people opening doors, or you know what I mean? And
That's
it's just
how
like,
I that's how I
well,
figured
that
out how to use a Cricut machine.
is all the
3D printer,
internet. Like
yeah.
that's how you got to where you are, and it's just like we're so fortunate with um, the technology, the modern technology, that we can do anything. Like you can set, like you could figure out a way to do it. Like I Googled like how to start a podcast
Mm-hmm.
and learned all these things, and like to get me to where I am. And it's so easy to do. You just got to put your mind to it. You got to have that drive. Not everyone's gonna have kids and have that type of motivation, but find a motivation and
Yeah.
put yourself there. And I think that's what I'm trying to do with this is bring these entrepreneurs in, bring these business minded people in, these people that are doing things out of the ordinary, or trying to do something for themselves, and bring them in here, pick their brains, understand why they do it and what they're doing it for, and putting it out there and just trying to inspire others. I think, I don't know, with COVID, like we need positivity. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like there's been so much negativity in the world, and, people against each other, and, all this negativity. Like, let's be positive. Let's lift each other up. And I like how you said, because it's so easy to like, see somebody, because I think nobody I knew was making cups
Mm-hmm.
like before I seen you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then like now you kind of see like it pop up a little bit here and
Yeah.
there, where it's so quick to be like, oh, they're copying me.
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's good. Like, you know what I mean? Like they don't have the same clientele you have, or they're not
Right.
going to make the same cups that you make. Like it's a free market. And like same thing with like the podcast. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna encourage everyone to do it. And when I started talking about that I was gonna do it, people are like, oh, I'm gonna do one too, and where I'm like want to be like, or not that want to be, but easy to be like, oh, great, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome. Hey, come on my show. You know what I mean? Have me on your show. Like, let's do it. Let's network. And I think there's like a bunch of different businesses where just like the power of networking and the power of social media, like you can really get to where you want to go or blow up. Like
For sure.
the theme party creations
Yes.
with
Tessa, she's amazing.
yeah, and I want to have her on the show. I'm gonna have Janet, Anita, and
Just even Janet and Edith
yeah, with
Edith
the
too.
lashes.
Yeah, they're just all like like I don't know, just they're inspirational. I mean, just women in general for
Yeah,
me. It's just
and I'm all about I'm all about the ladies now that I have a daughter.
yeah.
Like, I'm all about the woman empowerment,
Uh-huh.
and you know what I mean. Like let's push our women and our daughters, to the highest height, because you know what I mean. Like they could do it. Like we got our first female president. Like that's
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like that's super high, and like you know what I mean. I'm all about that. I'm all about women empowerment, and y'all could do it too. You know what
Yeah.
I mean. You guys can hold it down too. Um,
Yeah, so just, they're great. Tessa's great. I feel like she kind of started it for a lot of people, a lot of women in Denver, I
yeah,
feel like
cause
to me, she was like, I guess one of the like first, small business owners that I started like following and looking into. And she's a great person. If you know her personally, she's just always happy. She's very professional. She's great. And then even with, Janeth and their eyelashes, I'm like, they're amazing women. So just women in general, owning it, it doesn't matter what you do. Like if you're a woman or like even like a stay-at-home mom just trying to find a hustle, like I'm gonna support you. Like even there's like some girls that were selling like little Mexican candies, and she's like, I'm a single mom, I'm just trying to make men's eat or
ends meet.
yeah, ends meet. And so I was like, you know what, girl, I'm gonna buy your candy. So I bought her candy. So
And that's how we need to be. Like, you know what I mean? You support my business, I'll support
mhm.
yours. I'll get my people to support your business. You know what I mean? And it's something so simple as just to share on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like let's get rid of that haters mentality. Let's get rid of, that negativity. Like let's empower each other. Let's do everything we can. If I can't buy something from you, or if it's something that I don't want or I don't like, let me help you by promoting you.
It's
Just and
that
it's just a share. Like it
it's
don't
the
cost you
shares.
nothing.
It's the shares, the likes, the comments, honestly, that it means so much as a small business owner. Like, I have one friend, she she would constantly buy from me. She didn't care what, what the price was. She just constantly bought everything I posted. She's like, I want that, I want that, I want that. And then she would share, she would like, she would comment. So a lot of my followers happen to be, just from people sharing, my page or my
Yeah, the
work.
power of numbers.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
The power of numbers.
And it's not easy. It's definitely, it's hard work owning a small business. It takes a lot of time. It takes you away from family time. I've, it took away from like my personal social media, so my family. So there's a lot into it. It's not as easy as it looks, but it's definitely worth it. I feel like if you have something that you love, you love to do, and go for it for sure.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Jump in the water.
Mhm. Yeah, we kept we could talk all day.
Yeah, but no, I want to thank you for coming on, and you're definitely somebody I wanted on here just to explain our story and everything we've been through and what you're doing, and just have the positivity. Plus, you're my favorite sibling. I'll say that. But yeah, thank you again,
Yeah, thank you for
and
having me.
yeah. So how tell people how they can find you on social media, or how can they buy cups from you?
Yeah, so just go follow me on Instagram. That's kind of where I post a lot on Instagram. It's at made by Zay underscore. And then I have a link on my bio that kind of takes you, throughout all my social media profiles, like my TikTok. And then you can purchase anything that you see or like through, you could DM me on Instagram, or if you'd like, you can purchase through my Etsy shop.
Yeah, and in the description, I'll put that link, and all your handles and all that. So yeah, anyone who wants to reach out, and they're awesome. Like I said, I mean it's a cup to me. It's more than a cup just because my sister made it, but you put a lot of hard work into it, and they're awesome. So I definitely vouch for it, and buy your sister, your mom, somebody a cup.
Yeah, it's Valentine's coming
Yeah,
up.
Valentine's Day is coming up. I'm sure you'll have some type of theme, because I know you're doing the Halloween theme, and it's like each holiday, you go with the theme. So get a cup for every holiday in the year.
Yeah. And
Keep,
it's not just cups too. Like I have so much more that I Go check out my page. You'll
Yeah,
see a lot
you'll
of
see
different
see
stuff
all
on
of
there.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, keep supporting her. You know what I mean? Be the reason why she doesn't respond to me till a day later.
No, it's going really good for me. I've actually was just saying that I'm probably gonna look into getting like an assistant to run all my social media because I just can't keep up. Like my orders are crazy, and it's not like I'm like bragging about it, you know. It's more for me. Is I'm so grateful. Like I'm really really grateful just for the shares or the likes or just the purchases, you know. I'm really grateful for that because this is something that I love to do, and for me, it's more for like it's gonna be like I'm working hard and I'm doing this all for my daughter. So
Yeah. So, yeah, like she said, anyone interested want to run her social media account, have
yes,
that experience. I think you said you're looking for like single moms
yeah,
or like stay-at-home
mm-hmm,
moms. You even said like maybe like girls in high
yeah,
school, anything. So yeah, if you're hearing this, reach out. Like I said, all of her info will be in the description. Go follow, go hit a like. Doesn't cost you anything. You know, let's keep empowering each other. Let's keep our businesses running. Let's support each other.
yes.
Yeah. So again, thank you everyone for listening. Thank you to my sister for coming on, sharing your
Yeah,
story.
thank you for having me. I'll
Yeah.
be back,
Yeah,
guys.
she'll be back. Watch, we'll have another conversation about how she's a millionaire or
Yeah.
something, and she's gonna pay for her brother's podcast studio, hopefully. So
One day.
yeah,
We'll
one day we'll
think
be
big.
there. We'll be there. Aim, shoot for the stars, and
Yes.
land on the roof. But yeah, thank you again, guys. Keep liking, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Yeah, and take care. Oh, I wanted to share this too. I seen it on the internet. Just kind of like a little motivational quote or something. So there's no losses in life or anything you do. There's only lessons. So you either win or it's a lesson. All right, and end it with that. All right, everyone, take care. Thank you.